everyone? Welcome to another episode of us discussing the Mandalorian. This is Armando. With me, as always, is Pedro. What's going on, Pedro?
Hello. What's up? What's
hello,
up, everyone?
hello. What's going on? Our episode, Pedro. We are talking about Mandalorian season 2, episode 7, chapter 15, The Believer.
That's right.
So,
seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing, man. As we usually do, this discussion, we go straight into things. We don't do spoiler-free anything. You must know by now if you've been following us.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just get into it. Pedro, what did you think about this episode? Give me your thoughts.
I actually really liked it. I thought that this episode did a really good job of talking about something that we always talk about, which was what's the deal with the helmet? How long is that going to last? Is it going to happen anymore? And I said, nah, he's never showing his face again. And once again, I am wrong about this show. It's been many times, man. This is a very unpredictable show for me. I just can't quite grasp what they're doing, and in a good way, because I'm pretty surprised. But yeah, that was a huge freaking reveal, and it showed a lot about who he is as a person. And because the whole theme of the show was like breaking rules, bending rules, and stuff like that. So they did it. They did it here, and
yeah,
I liked it.
It was pretty big, and especially the scene that he showed his face. It wasn't a quick cameo like last time.
No,
it was literally a
God.
full scene of him conversating and going through the progressions or whatever.
And I love the way they filmed it. It was kind of like, they didn't make it like a dramatic reveal that he was doing it. He just like popped it open, and you're kind of like, and then the music kind of kicks in, going like, oh shit, and then he does his scan. And then you're like, oh, that's it. He's just going to put his helmet and move on. But then, of course, this guy is like, hey, soldier, what's your number? And then Bill Burr comes into the rescue to go back him up and everything. And then they have to sit down, a whole conversation. It's just this awkward, like, yep, I am fucking showing my face for everyone here. Yeah. And I got to sit here and listen to these fuckers. And I thought that was such a great, tense scene.
It was very good.
It did a really good job. It gave me Inglourious Bastards vibes. A little bit of Django with the way it ended, and yeah, man. Overall, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was an interesting sequence they had, especially when Bill Burr just kind of snaps and just like fucking starts shooting everybody. You could tell he was. That's literally the reason why he probably left the Imperial was because of that
the
Operation
PTSD
Cinder.
Because there was a scene you can really tell where he just starts. The commanding officer just starts talking about it, and you can tell he just doesn't give a shit about it. He's like, well, they're heroes of the Empire now. It was all, like he was pretty much implying like, yep, they sacrificed it and it's all worth it. And you just see that twitch, and it's just like, that's where like the memories start kicking in. That's where he's like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
And I love how Mando was kind of like shaking his head like, don't do it. Don't do it.
If I held my pride, you can hold yours.
Yeah.
But no, this dude was like, no, I want some type of remorse for all the shit that happened, and you got nothing.
Yeah,
you don't deserve to live.
Sure.
And I think what really clinched it too was that so the name of the place they got attacked, they called it the Burning Jaw or something. I can't remember the name of it right now. But he said that the Rhydonium that they brought in is going to make that one look like nothing in comparison. And that was like the clincher. Like, oh, yeah, dude, I can't believe I'm just helping you create more traumatizing moments, like multiply. And he's like, yeah, you're fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
So I thought that was badass. He did a whole little Han Solo, Han shot first moment. I was like, damn, that was badass. I actually really liked it.
No, for sure, man. I mean, that's what you expect, right? Because he snapped. And he's just like, man, fuck this, dude. I'm not gonna listen to this. Not 1 second longer.
It was a dumb move, but it was a very like passionate. Like, yep, that's it. It's a gut instinct thing, not a smart play at all.
And you know what I especially liked was the silence before the shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
because they shot and they just kind of looked at each other. And they're just kind of like, well, he's like, he deserved this. I'm sure he said something like that.
No, it's just quiet, and then he just keeps shooting. But they had a stormtrooper in the back with like, that was just minding his own business. Kind of turns around and be like, did I just see what I think I saw? And that's when all the shooting happened. So yeah, that break, that pause, definitely added to like, did I just hear that?
Yeah.
So that was pretty good, and I like that. Mandalorian show is continuing to combine all the media. So they started talking about Operation Cinder, which was what the whole thing that he was traumatized about. Space Boston, Wilbur. And that ties into Battlefront 2 because you actually see it firsthand.
Yeah.
That whole thing where they...
Yeah, 'cause that's the opening of the game, right?
It's not the opening, but it's pretty much what makes your character in Battlefront 2 to, spoiler alert, defect.
Yeah.
Because you guys essentially annihilate an entire like planet and everything. Like you just start destroying evidence that the Empire was ever there and stuff like that. And that involved killing everyone, including civilians. Like no remorse. So that was like the turning point for your character in Battlefront 2, and clearly that was a turning point for Space Boston as well.
Yeah.
So I just like that they tied it in. I'm like, I know what that is. I was there. I was there.
I played through it. I ran away.
Yeah. Let's rewind it back a bit.
Yeah, let's take it back.
So, in a previous episode, we'll get back to this in a second, but in a previous episode, when Gideon sends a message to Mando about the child, he says, he means more to me than you will ever know. Pretty soon he'll be back in my... I'm paraphrasing, but pretty soon he'll be back in my hands, Yeah. And he does this whole little speech. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, look, typical villainous speech or whatever. Which I had totally forgotten about until I saw the previously on Mandalorian. And I'm like, oh, I see where they're going with this. So anyway, so the episode starts off with them getting Space Boston out. Yeah. And then I kind of like the funny little moment where when Cara Dune recruits him, and then he's going back and he sees Boba first, and he kind of goes like, oh, I thought you were the other guy for a second. And then that's when Mando's behind him. He's like, fuck. Like, oh, there it is.
He's like hey, Mando.
Yeah. But, yeah. And then, of course, they go to the planet to go get the terminal. It was this whole little mumbo jumbo for them to have to be there, to have to use the terminal, to have to like unmask. Yeah. But I mean, in the Star Wars universe, it fucking works.
Yeah, it works all the time because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah. So it starts off with, hey, I got to be there. I got to scan my face. And all of you guys are wanted, so you can't be there. So who's going to come with me? And Mando's like, well, it's got to be me because you're not going to go by yourself. But then it's the whole back and forth of, but you can't take your fucking Mandalorian armor off. And that's where he at first bends the rule to get into the trooper outfit. Yeah. Which that was kind of cool. They had the Scarif troopers there. I thought that was a kind of cool little throwback to
Rogue One.
To Rogue One as well. It's like, oh, so they're not just sandy stormtroopers. They're just another armor that you can use everywhere. So, and then of course the whole ride there is Space Boston telling him, bending the rules, breaking the rules, like this side, that side, like it's all the same shit, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty much just slowly like feeding it into him that like there are no rules.
There are no rules, yeah.
When you want something, you just fucking do it.
When you're trying to get something that you care about, you sacrifice anything.
Yeah. And then that was all the foreshadowing that you needed for that. I thought, of course, no one knew that big reveal was going to happen so quickly.
I didn't expect it.
I'm like, oh, okay, they're just doing into that because he's going to eventually break it.
Like you're feeding
it for the next episode, the finale. He's going to take it off. At that point, I'm like, there's a lot of talk about it. Maybe he will take it off for the finale. Nah, dude. They did it right then and there. Yeah. Surprised the shit out of me.
I think that's one of the things that I like about the show, that it doesn't tend to linger. Like it's the Ahsoka episode. We all knew Ahsoka was gonna come out,
and then boom.
And it's the very first few seconds of the episode. I mean, first few minutes you see Ahsoka. Yeah. Like you didn't have to wait till the end to see her or halfway through it. Like no, here you go, bam. Instant gratification and satisfaction.
Yeah. They it's like pulling off the Band-Aid. It's like, oh, boom, there it is. It's done.
Exactly.
I like that the what's it called? The Rhydonium that they are, which is the explosive shit.
That
what was it, like the explosive MacGuffin that they're bringing around. That wasn't just made up for that episode. That was actually brought up in Clone Wars, a Filoni episode. It was called Missing in Action. I looked it up because I was like, man, I've heard it a couple times. So it's the Missing in Action one. That's the one where the clone trooper was MIA. It was Gregor. He ends up coming out in Rebels as well. He was the one that was like missing, and he forgot he had amnesia, and he started a whole family and everything.
Oh yeah, in that planet.
In a planet. And at the very end, he's like, "Oh, hold them off for you. Go escape." And then there's Rhydonium all around him, and he just blows the whole place up. Yeah, and you think that's the last you see of him until you see him in Rebels. And in Rebels again, they bring up more Rhydonium. It was the episode with like Sabine and Hera, where they shoot it up to kill those monsters that are coming at them.
Yeah, I remember that. So the empty base, right? Something like that?
Yeah, like the empty base where they only come out at night. So it's kind of cool that, Filoni is still bringing in his little elements that he introduced to make sure it's not, oh no, we didn't just bring that up just to make something explosive for the time, and we couldn't think of like a gasoline version for Star Wars, so fuck it, Rhydonium, and then they just rolled with it. So I like that he's the man of the details, and you can tell even though he didn't write it, it was I'm gonna butcher his name.
Rick Famuyiwa.
I'm gonna look it up so we can stop butchering the poor man's name. It is, I just put Ick.
Yeah,
Rick.
Yeah, it's
Famuyiwa. Rick Famuyiwa. He wrote and directed this one, and I actually enjoyed this one more than his last one, his Prison Break one.
No, this was 100 times better than that one.
It just looked better too.
It looked better. It felt better. The character interactions were better.
So let's get into the action scenes, because I know that we were complaining about the Robert Rodriguez action scenes.
Yeah.
Now, how are these in comparison?
This is better, dude. It actually felt Star Wars. Like, all right, again, it felt like Mandalorian. Because the thing is that, like I told you last episode, the Mandalorian has a certain feel to it, a certain look that the Robert Rodriguez episode did not look like, did not follow it.
It felt very
and
CW.
And it felt fake. It felt like a B movie, like we mentioned in previous episodes. So this one felt like it was actually part of the Mandalorian series and show. And how this is, like I always mention that they need to continue. These directors come in and take over just a episode, a piece of the entire series, but
they need to make it seamless.
You have to make it seamless. Add your flair to it. Add your filmmaking elements, but you have to keep the feeling the same.
Yeah. You gotta make it feel like they're the same universe.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, this episode, it was outside. It had outside shots and all that, and it felt like it was part of it.
There were so many shots that looked great. It was really just that whole chase, the action scene with the pirates, like all of that, and.
That pirate one kind of threw me off a little bit, because if you get down to the nitty gritty of it, right, there are actually people who are fighting against the Empire,
exactly,
and you're killing people who are fighting against the Empire.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, Dan, couldn't you just like hurt them?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking the same thing, because I'm like, pirates would imply that they were there just to steal shit, but clearly they were just chucking grenades inside to blow it up
to protect their home.
They weren't stealing anything.
No, they were protecting their home.
Yeah, that's exactly what I took it as. Yeah, because they're like pirates, but you're not stealing anything. You're just
they're pirates to the Empire.
Right. Yeah.
But they are just trying to drive the Empire out of their home, and so they're attacking their precious shit. So I just kind of find again, this is just like this stupid small plot hole things, but I
wouldn't even say that he's always been morally gray, closer to light, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's still been morally gray. We're like, at the end of the day, I'm going to kill you. So this is just another person that's stopping him from getting to Grogu. So he's
exactly. So he did what he had to do.
Yeah, he's like, it sucks. You guys want your land. I get it, but you're going to die.
But if you blow my shit up, then I can't get the kids. Yeah. So I get why he was doing it, but it's also an obstacle. Yeah, it's an obstacle in my way. But it's also like, these people are not bad. They're just...
No. I didn't take it the first time I did, but when I watched it again, I'm like, wait a minute, these guys weren't stealing shit. No, they're just blowing shit up to get them out of there.
Yeah, to drive the Empire out.
Especially since they have probably, I mean, this is me speculating now, but now that we know the end game of the Rhydonium was to commit like terrorist acts, maybe they knew that, and maybe they were trying to stop it.
Yeah, no,
who knows?
We don't know, but the whole point here is that they're not bad people. They're never they're just protecting their lands.
Yeah,
they're rebels. If you think about it.
And then you could tell they were down for the cause, because they were going to suicide at the end when all of them lit up their fucking thermal detonators. I'm like, oh shit, they're just like really going to town.
Yeah.
So, but that whole chase, that whole thing, the whole action. I mean,
it was great.
Aside from the morally gray area of it all, I was like, that was a great fucking.
It was great
action.
Yeah,
scene.
For sure.
And it was so bizarre that when they finally get there, they're the only ones that actually made it, because you hear through the radio the other ones get.
Everybody died,
and then they're being cheered, saluted by stormtroopers, and then it's just like, oh, that's fucking bizarre.
It is, because in their eyes, they're like, oh, you saved us and our cause.
So it didn't go this route. Maybe it might have if it would have been like an hour episode, but I thought there was going to be a moment where the stormtroopers were actually going to talk to them, and you can kind of see the more grounded aspect of the other side. Like maybe they're ones that were forced into it. I thought, this is me thinking they were going to go that route. Just because I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Especially with Bill Burr's conversation in the car about, New Republic, Empire. What's the difference?
Yeah,
it's just ruling and being ruled.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go that route. I felt like if they had more time, they probably would have done that.
Probably.
Like maybe in the mess hall right before that. But they just cut right to the business. They're like, all right, we're at the mess hall.
Well, you also got to think about it. It's a half-hour episode.
Yes.
Like it's been for the past few episodes.
35, 48, yeah.
It's been annoying.
But again, I'm totally fine that they just went right to it.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been a cool little thing to add to make you think like, not all of them are... Yes, they're bad because they're working for bad people, but it's like, it's tragic that you got to work for them type thing. I thought they were going to go that route.
Yeah.
But, and that's where he gets his now going to be classic brown eyes.
Brown eyes, yeah.
I thought that was so funny. You were telling me that in an interview he was talking about it.
Yeah. They mentioned that to him, and he said he loved it. That everybody was, talking about it like that.
It gave me big, good, the bad, and the ugly vibes, because one of the villains' name is Angel Eyes, and then Clint, they always call him Blondie. So there's always like, they pretty much call them by like an adjective about them, about something about their features. So it gave me that idea, especially since Mando is very Clint Eastwood like.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, that's a cool little throwback.
Yeah, it
to
was pretty cool.
And then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and that sequence was great too.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers still can't hit shit.
They can't hit shit.
But they could hit Beskar, so...
And he didn't have Beskar, so they weren't hitting anything.
They weren't hitting anything.
Those blasters are Beskar magnets, but no Beskar, I can't hit for shit. So they get out scot-free. You got Mulan Sniper, and you got MMA Sniper.
Yeah. Cara Dune.
Oh, man, I'm trying to remember what her character was now. I know I said Mulan, but she was a Fennec.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Fennec. So a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, very tangent.
But she's confirmed to be in Bad Batch.
So you see in the Bad Batch trailer.
In the Bad Batch trailer, you see her, and she confirmed it was her. That's kind of cool, because
it is.
I always thought she was an interesting character, and when we thought she died in season 1, I was like, man, what a waste.
Yeah.
Now she's back. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
It's cool, and it's gonna give us the
like a backstory.
Yeah, Bad Batch is essentially gonna probably let us know why she is wanted by the ISB, which would be pretty interesting.
That's a cool little thing. More connections of the universe. It's always cool. They're pretty much doing what Marvel's been doing for a while. So and these guys are doing it just as successfully now.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes, Shanti's favorite scenes as well, is they get picked up by the Slave One, and then they're getting chased, and then the Slave One drops the fucking sonic bombs.
Oh my god!
From episode 2,
so cool.
From Attack of the Clones, and when it blows up, it was the same effect, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so awesome!
It was so cool, man.
Oh man, and she was geeking out. She's like, oh my god, this is the best part of the episode. I'm like, it's pretty fucking.
It was beautiful, dude.
It was what a way to end it. What a finale.
What a way, dude.
I was like, oh,
after the explosion you had with, with Bill Burr blowing up the facility.
Oh yes.
Wait, that was after that.
No, they blow up the facility first, and then they're on the run, and then he does the sonic boom.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. Bill Burr does go back, and then they're about to dip, and he's like, "No, wait a minute," and then he snipes the Rhydonium to make sure.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, essentially he killed off the entire facility.
I don't know if he killed them. I think he just blew it up, the top part.
Well, he blew up the facility, I think.
No, I watched it again. He didn't blow up the entire thing.
Okay.
He just blew up the Rhydonium, which probably killed whoever was on the top
floor.
For
sure. But it stops the production.
It stops the production, and then
which is pretty good. Which is good for the people that.
And then they gave him a redemption arc.
Yeah.
They gave Space Boston a redemption arc. Clearly, Cara Dune saw that too. She was like, her terrible acting. So Space Boston blows up the rooftop, and then she kind of goes, very, very awkwardly and exaggeratedly.
So someone died, right?
Yeah. You're not so bad after all. And then that's when she does the whole, too bad he didn't make it, huh? And he's like, can I go? Am I gone? Yeah, he didn't make it there. Which is funny, because I know we're trying to make it think like, oh yeah, he didn't make it. He can go.
Yeah.
But honestly, my brain went to like, if someone were to say that to me, I think they're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And actually kill me there.
That's what I was thinking about when he was walking away. I'm like, turn around, little bird, turn around before they shoot you.
I was like, we know that she wouldn't do that, but he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that, yeah.
She broke the rules to bring him there. She could do anything.
Exactly.
So he was like, what? What? Am I going to stay there? So who knows if he'll make it back? I'm sure he will.
Yeah, for sure.
He's best friends with Jon Favreau, and they gave him a redemption arc. So
yeah, and he's a survivor, like you
I don't
said.
even call it an arc. They just gave him a redemption, like, I guess it's kind of an arc,
maybe.
I suppose.
Because remember, he was a mercenary.
They gave him the backstory. They gave him the PTSD. He
Yeah.
got his revenge. So yeah, I suppose they did.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a backstory.
and then what I brought up earlier, the episode ends with Gideon finally. They find Gideon's coordinates.
Yeah.
And that's when he sends him the message. And at first, I didn't catch that. So I'm like, man, what an awkward message. Where he's like, it's like a cheesier version of the Taken. I will find you. I will kill you. I have a particular set of skills. He means more to me than you'll ever know. And then, because I was watching with Orlando, and Orlando was like, that was so cheesy. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of was cheesy, but it was kind of cool, but it was still kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But of course, when I saw it the second time, I saw that Gideon said the exact same word. So it was like, so now that's
taunting him. It's like,
now it was a taunt. And
Yeah.
now the reason why his delivery was so awkward is because
he emphasized it.
he
Right?
was emphasizing it the way that Gideon talks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's fucking cool now.
Yeah.
I get it. He was totally being an asshole.
Yeah, he was.
And I'm like, so the ending
was good, dude.
The ending is no longer cheesy to me. Now it's like, oh, okay, cool. You just dropped your dick on the table.
Yeah, essentially. And I love how that entire scene was filmed. Also, you know, it was cool to see the Mando helmet there. And
Yeah. He put it back on, of course.
Yeah, of course he did.
No more brown eyes yet.
No more brown eyes. But it was just kind of cool seeing, you know, I don't. It's just the body, like the you know, the body essentially is the voice acting.
Yes,
because the body is not doing anything. You know,
the body language. Yeah.
so you have this voice acting essentially of just kind of like that sound pretty cool. You know, like it drove the point home, and I really like that part. But yeah, dude, the whole episode was pretty cool, especially now that you mentioned that. You know, it makes that ending even better.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, I know where you are and I'm coming for you because that little baby means more to me than it ever means to you.
He re-quoted it,
Yeah.
but he meant it through his point, and you're like, oh man, there you go.
And after you see everything he's done this episode, you know that it's true.
That's a good thing you brought up. Exactly. He sacrificed his beliefs, which is why the episode's called The Believer.
The Believer.
Because it's showing that, yeah, he's the believer, but
Yeah.
he believes in things more. He believes in other things a little more.
But yeah, man, a good episode overall, man.
Great.
A+, loved it.
Yeah.
It was great, man. Good shit. Any last thoughts you have about what's...
I guess we can, we always like to
Speculate?
end it. We always like to end it to speculate, even though I've been wrong every single time.
Give
so
me your
far.
speculation, Pedro, because I think this was the one I agree with you the most out of this entire season.
Yeah, so next episode's going to be them versus some Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
He won't show his face anymore. They're saving that for next season.
No. One-on-one.
They'll save Grogu. I don't think he's going to leave without Grogu. But they're not going to kill Gideon.
No.
Gideon's going to twirl his mustache to be a villain for the next season or so.
He'll get away.
But I got a feeling that a after credits of some kind, or maybe the last scene, is going to them show that.
Well, they did that last season with Gideon having the dark saber.
You're right.
So they're gonna do something.
So
Like that.
I think the next end of the episode reveal, the dark saber reveal in this case, is going to be that the experiments worked, and they somehow were able to force enhance troopers or even Gideon himself. Like there might even be a scene where he like twitches something. You know, kind of like that ending in X-Men where Magneto moves the chess piece.
Yeah.
At the very least, I'm expecting something along those lines. So we'll see. Because you can't just inject yourself and be Rey Skywalker now, can you?
No, you can't. But yeah, I agree with that point for sure. Like I also believe that Bo-Katan's gonna come back in this episode.
Bo-Katan, good.
She's
good,
coming
good.
back.
Yeah,
because I mean,
I think so too because the dark saber is so big.
Yeah,
so, so big
it's like a good MacGuffin.
A plot point. Yep.
Yeah, and the thing is that like
and it's her whole motivation.
Her entire motivation, and Mando knows that,
and he knows the coordinates. So, he's gonna call Bo-Katan.
Be like, hey, I found Gideon for you. If you help me save the child or something like that,
yeah.
You know.
And then more Mando squad, and maybe you could see him work as a team instead of him being like. Remember the it'll be the opposite of what happened, where he was just kind of like, "Whoa, look at these guys!"
like, what's going
and
on
now
here?
maybe he could be the fourth one in the squad. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, he'll play better with them.
Or maybe not, because Sasha, what was her face? The other one,
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks supposedly isn't going to be in it again. She said, so maybe it'll just be Bo-Katan and Mando.
Probably. Who knows? Whatever it is, Bo-Katan's coming back because he knows where Gideon is, and she's been looking for Gideon.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Peyton Reed is going to be directing the next episode, not Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
That surprised me.
Well, that was shocker because I didn't. What was Peyton Reed's one guy? I thought I didn't.
He did the Spider one,
which was okay. That was okay episode.
It was just the
probably
filler one.
It was the most weakest one of the entire series.
I would say weakest plot wise.
Yeah,
but I thought the way he directed it was good.
Let's see how he does.
Yeah, for the finale.
You know, he's the, if you know, you guys don't know, he is the guy who's directed the Ant-Man movies.
Yes,
and a lot of comedies.
Do you think that Ahsoka's going to come out at the end?
No, I don't think so.
I
no,
think
she's gone. She has her own series now.
Now that exactly, now that the series has been mentioned, I think that's it for her.
Yeah, she has her own series. She's not going to come out. There's no point for her to come out anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want her to come out.
Yeah, there isn't.
We're gonna have 8 or 10 episodes of her in the next year or so. So I don't really need her. It'll be interesting to see if we also maybe meet the Jedi that
was called
the baby Yoda was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we could probably see that. That'd be pretty interesting if it does that.
The more I think about it, it's not going to be Ezra. I know I was saying it's totally Ezra.
I still feel it's Ezra.
I don't think it's Ezra because I think that they're saving that reveal for the Ahsoka show.
For sure. Hell yeah, they are. But I still feel it's Ezra, though.
What if it was Cal Kestis? Or do you think that's a reach because of the game?
Much. Yeah, it's a game. Mm-hmm. What I feel, Pedro, is that...
or an original one altogether.
They're going to hit... Yeah, that's most likely that's what's going to happen. It's going to be an original Jedi.
I would lose my shit over the one that was part of the Jedi Council that I mentioned last time.
Ooh, probably, dude. The one that feels.
Yes, the one that gets impressions. He'll touch an item.
The Dread guy.
Yes, I cannot remember his name.
I don't remember his name, but you know that would be very awesome if it's him, because he's gone. Like nobody knows anything about him. No one knows anything. And it's a Filoni character, right?
He's a Lucas character. Lucas created him, and he was about to kill him in Order 66, and at the last minute, he said, "Don't show him in the montage because you guys can use him for the comics," and that's it. And then he pretty much was like, "I don't care." And then Dave Filoni used him in Clone Wars. He had a really good arc, and he had an amazing arc that sadly was in a canceled season, so they turned it into a book, Dark Disciple, which is how he redeems what was her name, Count Dooku's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Ventress.
He
has a little love thing going on with Ventress and redeems her, and then she sacrifices herself to save him. So that was the end of it, though. That's all we know about him.
Amazing to see.
That would be a good one.
Wow, Pedro, that's a good one.
I have to look him up now.
Holy shit! You know, now that you mentioned that, I think it's him, dude. Fuck it, fuck Ezra, because Ezra, we're not gonna see him until the end of until somewhere in the Ahsoka series, because Ahsoka's looking for Ezra. We're not going to see Sabine this episode either, so get that shit out of your head if you're thinking about that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Sabine's going to come out at the beginning.
Quinlan Vos.
I
think it's Quinlan Vos. Whether we'll see him or not, or maybe they'll just hint at him the same way they hinted at Boba with the boots in season 1.
Dude, I would love for them to end with him meditating and you see him.
Ooh.
And then it just cuts off there. And it kind of, it implies that he was talking to Yoda. Yeah. To baby,
because Quinlan Vos, man,
you don't know anything about him.
Quinlan Vos, he had the dreads and he had the yellow paint across his face.
Dude, that would be amazing. Holy shit,
that would be a good one.
That's a good callback, man.
Well, I got my fingers crossed for that one. I definitely prefer him over Cal Kestis or Ezra or even Sebastian Stan as Luke, which ain't gonna happen. But
I think that if people thinking it's Luke is probably the stupidest thing ever.
I agree. Yet. Well, yeah, that being...
No, I just think it's...
But Sebastian Stan being as Luke in future seasons...
that'd be pretty cool.
...is not out of the question.
No, that'd be pretty cool, but I'm just saying, Luke being the one... No, it just won't make sense, because then why isn't he in...
everything else?
In the sequel trilogy, it's kind of like...
Well, maybe...
Kylo Ren kills him?
Kylo Ren kills him.
Not the younglings!
I think they're trying to stay away from sequel trilogy as much.
No, yeah, for sure. And I don't think he's gonna be in it. But damn, that Quinlan Vos one is Jesus. That's a really good one, Pedro.
Let's go.
What a great way to call him back.
That would
bring
be a
him
great
back
one.
into the well. But again, the thing is that I don't believe that Grogu's gonna leave anytime soon. So the thing is that like if Grogu leaves, the show ends. So that has to be the ending of the show.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna have a Jedi hanging out with Mando and Baby Yoda. Like that'd be just weird. You know?
Yeah.
It'll change the dynamic of the series.
That's why it'll probably just be a quick reference, the same way that Boba got the reference. It was just some boots, and you're like, "Who is that?" You don't find out till the next season. So it could be that type.
I would love to see that. Damn, dude, that's a good one, Pedro. I'm on board with that. Very on board.
Nice.
Any last thoughts then?
Nope, that's it. I can't wait to see how it ends.
Yeah, man. Should be great.
I hope it's an hour episode.
It has to be, dude. There's
Fucking
too
hope
much.
so.
There's just too much. You have to do the plan, the attack, and the end. Like that's not enough show for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like no, it's an hour. But yeah, hope you listeners, discussers, or whatever you want to call yourselves on this episode.
Discussers. They don't
Hope you enjoyed.
They don't discuss with us. They just listen.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you thought. What do you think is gonna happen in the end? Who's gonna answer the call? Baby Grogu's call. Who's gonna die this episode?
Oh yeah. Who knows?
Till next time.
Bye-bye.